What's up, everybody? Welcome to Privacyninja's weekly podcast series. Today, we have Dexter Ng from Anti-Hack, whereby they specialize in penetration testing. They legally hack businesses to enter their systems, websites, and mobile apps to let you know if there's any vulnerabilities before the bad guys come in. And we also have Cherilyn Tan from Law Network and Tessaract Technologies. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hello. Good.
Hi, I'm good. So, Cherilyn, can you share with us a little bit about your background and what does Tesseract do?
Background. Well, I'm an accountant by training, but unfortunately, I have not done much accounting work in my work life. I do have some bookkeeping experience doing my own books, but usually I try to outsource that. I guess, a serial entrepreneur, I've built a number of businesses, of which ranges from F&B to advertising agency, and now we have Law Network as well as Tessaract Technologies, which is a B2B SaaS software company. Yes, and that's quite some businesses for not too many years.
Nice. That sounds quite a mouthful. You achieve so many things. So what's the main difference between Law Network and then the Tesseract as a platform? Is it one is a network and the other is a software that law firms can use?
Yes, actually, what we consider for Law Network and Tesseract is more like a B2B to C. So Law Network is the B2C part, whereas Tesseract is the B2B part. So we help people get access to legal services. At the same time, we're helping the law firms to actually digitize. And not just law firms, we expanded our service offerings to beyond law firms, to accounting firms, to mid to large size SMEs, as well as even smaller size SMEs with e-signing, with digitizing all the documents and helping them to manage their workflows online.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. And then what inspired you to go into this legal industry when you said you're actually an accountant by trade, right? We studied.
Yes. Actually, through my experience of growing businesses, one of the things, when you're young, right, is that you don't know enough of the law. And, whenever you want to sell a business or whenever you're looking at, even employment contracts and stuff, you tend to take whatever that's out there, which I don't think is the most smart way to do things. And in those days, when you're 25 and you're trying to find someone that's legally trained, it's quite hard. I have lawyer friends, but I don't want to call them every day to bug them about legal questions, right? So what I realized is actually in Singapore, it's interesting that we're all very educated, right? And it's a developed society, but we're very underserved when it comes to legal services. In Singapore, we have one lawyer serving 1,150 population. But in comparative countries such as like Australia and UK, you're talking about 1:460 to 480 population. And of course, in the US, there's a lot more lawyers. So it's like 1:300 population. So we are actually quite underserved as a market.
Oh, so you mean that the numbers you just gave was the ratio, right? Like
Yes.
you said, Singapore, one law firm would serve 1,000 plus. Overseas, one law firm
lawyer.
serve 400 plus, or one lawyer.
Yeah.
That's a lot of good business. They take on so many clients.
Okay. So actually, if we double in the number of lawyers, there will still be enough work to go around. And I think the key is really to help people to understand the business of law, right? Like when you're sick, you go to a doctor very easily, right? Even if you know you got the same flu, you go down to the GP to get the same medicine, you still go to the doctor, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
But funnily in Singapore, right, when you want to find legal services, you call your friends. You don't go to the lawyer.
A lot of them scared they gonna chop by a lawyer if you go to people you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is why we're trying to make it like a lot more transparent lah. We started the quick consult service, which allows people to just get legal services for $49, which is similar if you want to go to a doctor.
$49.
Yes.
Wow.
It's an automated service. You can choose the lawyer you want, from a transparent team of lawyers from, across Singapore. They're all Singapore trained to be on the platform. And there's no favoritism on the platform. So it's really just we present the lawyers that are there, that say who they are, that say what they do. And of course, the ones that are more tech savvy in terms of like trying to get online. We do have quite a number of more senior lawyers that are actually quite excited about this whole digitizing. So they've also gone online to do some quick consults.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. So any lawyer can come onto your platform and just put their profile there, and then any user can also see, oh, this lawyer specialized in this, that lawyer specialized in that. Then he can choose who he wants, is it?
Exactly. And I think just like going to a doctor, right? Being transparent is one of the biggest things you need, right? If I want to go to a doctor, I need to know, okay, what kind of qualifications this doctor has, what are some of the previous cases that they have dealt with. And now with online systems, with online platforms, it's a lot easier to serve, and it's also a lot easier for the lawyers to also do conflict check. So on our system, it allows them to do conflict check, so they can conflict check before accepting the case. So that's very, very important. Yeah.
Conflict check, you mean if there's a conflict of interest between existing client and his competitor, something like that?
Correct. Or even the counterparty, right? For example, if I am trying to sue B, then obviously if you're a lawyer that already is working with B, you cannot take up my case. Yeah. So those are some of the things that, make things faster rather than, wait 1 week before you hear from your lawyer. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it. So what are some of the challenges that you face, in this legal industry and in creating your solution?
So I think in the legal industry, together with some of the other professionals like accounting, with engineering, architectural professionals, as well as some of the consultants, they are still not too used to the fact that everything is so quick and fast, Like in a normal day today, I'm sure when you guys want to get food now, right? It's like grab food immediately within like 30 minutes or half an hour, your food is at the doorstep. I guess they still live in the previous mode of working where you
traditional.
Call, super traditional, right? Like, okay, you call them, they'll have 1 week to respond, but in today's world, I mean, I'm sure if they take 1 week, then you'll be like, okay, then in the meantime, let me find some other people who's free now.
They will shop around during that 1 week.
Exactly, right? So things are changing, and I think the more difficult part is to get them to realize that it's changing no matter what. Like if you don't pick up pace and chase for the clients, right? The clients are going to go with the ones that are actually okay to take up those clients already.
A lot of the millennials don't even read the newspaper anymore. So
Exactly.
like the old way of advertising for the law firms that were advertising on the newspaper is getting more and more useless already. Those ads are falling into wrong on wrong eyes.
Exactly. And even like managing clients, previously they're all on Excel sheet or like on paper in a file, right? So come on, imagine it if you do a conflict check. You have to flip through the files or go through the Excel sheet. But on Tessaract, basically it's a 2-second or 1-second search. Then they can search through the entire database and figure out whether they can take out the client or not.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I remember I got into a car accident. I was driving and the car hit me. And then so there was a law I had to engage a lawyer and everything to fight the case and all for insurance, this kind of thing. So I went to my lawyer's office and it's like he had one whole shelf, full wall in one part of his office that filled with just, files after files, Yeah. So I was like looking, wow, so many cases, so thick, all the case files and all. I don't know how they're going to sift through when they need to.
Yeah. So actually, very funnily, we have one insurance company that works with us. So in the insurance company, right, what they do is they have all these shelves, right? And then basically how they track which insurance has to file, which one has to go to the next step, right? They take the file from one cupboard and put it into the next. That is their workflow process, right?
Okay.
And the funny thing is, we have basically the digital version of this.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
The one file moved to the
next. It will
next.
probably take them like many minutes or even hours to look for stuff, whereas your Tesseract plugin will probably search much faster, like a few seconds. Yeah.
Yes. So I guess digitizing also comes about with a lot of things that they need to watch out for. Now with COVID, everyone needs to work online, working from home. There are a lot of things they need to look out for. Like on Tesseract, actually, we have a number of security features, right? Like IP address whitelisting, like 2FA, and inactivity logout. Just like your bank app, right? If you are inactive for some time, then basically they log you out and then you have to re-log in. So some of these things they're not actually used to, because if they're used to on-prem systems, they don't work the same way, right?
Yeah.
And then some people will be like, hey, how come I cannot log in? But actually they don't even have internet. So
and the on-prem, like a lot of them don't even work if, like, let's say this COVID work from home, you cannot even work. Some cannot even access the network at all.
exactly.
Yep.
So the lucky ones will have their own tech team, right? Who help to set up on a VPN to log into the on-prem
Yeah.
systems. But
Right.
the ones who are not prepared just lug all
Wait
the
2
files
months.
home. Yeah.
Use
We have lawyers
handphone.
who really carry the luggage back home.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's quite funny.
And you said a lot of the lawyers and law firms are still living, I wouldn't say prehistoric times, but still traditional, right? They're still used to the way they do. They're so busy. So what about onboarding? When you approach law firms, do they happily, they understand that yes, digitization is the way to go, then you take up your Tesseract services immediately, or you still have to educate them a little bit? Is it difficult to convince them?
I think with any tech solution, there's always the 15% of people who adopt first. The early
Yeah.
adopters, the ones who are like, okay, we got to do it, then just do it.
Those
Right?
savvy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after the 15%, you have the next 15%, right? Who would be like, okay, 15% can do it, we can do it,
Yeah.
And then there'll be people who will be like, yeah, if we
Maybe
don't do
can
it,
wait a
we'll be
little
out of a
longer.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
And then there'll be the last 20% whom, I guess they just cannot
Don't
switch.
even know what's going on.
They can't.
Yeah.
Actually, we've seen companies, right, on top, right, the managing partners and partners are actually very forward thinking. So they actually really want to move forward with digitization, because it's obvious that it's going to happen. But when it comes down to, for example, implementation of services, training, actually we realized that there still is a bit of a gap between the people on top as well as the people who are actually doing the day-to-day job. Yeah, so those are the harder parts to onboard, because we really need to sit beside them and guide them through, and sometimes it can really take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of hard work.
I
Seems
believe
like
I believe the COVID-19 actually brought forward like things that were waited 2 more years or even 3 more years. Now with COVID-19 actually brought forward more customers to start transitioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, yeah. I guess we're fortunate in a way, right? Our services is more in demand because of COVID-19. But I think we take this opportunity also to test within the system. Like, ability to take on a lot more work. We actually changed the system slightly to enable a greater influx of connections, right, across all the law firms, and also to increase our security over the past few months, because of all the work from home arrangements. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of stuff that we kind of accelerated the progress of growing. Yeah.
A quick question. Is the law industry one of the exempted or essential services during the COVID, or still had to all work from home?
Certain parts of the law actually are essential services. I guess when it comes to going to court and stuff, these are things that have to be done. So actually, most of the law firms have exemptions. I think to go back to office. Yeah, and a lot of the data is also in the office, so that's where I guess they. I mean, I do see a team A, team B type arrangement, but so far, yeah, they still go back to office. Yeah.
There was a news recently, but the guy got sentenced to death over Zoom.
Over Zoom.
So
Yes.
that made Singapore popular again.
Yes.
During the COVID-19.
Yeah. Actually, there's a couple of very funny stories, like how the judge, they were doing like Zoom calls, right, over court, and then someone whose nickname was Hydra Bomb.
Huh?
I think there was the kid's username on Zoom, and then he forgot to change the name.
Hydra Bomb.
Bomb. Yeah.
Hydra Bomb. Okay.
So that was the judge
Hydro
nickname.
Bomb, I can't remember. Yeah. Then the secretary was like, Judge, should we allow Hydro Bomb into the room? So I think there was a leak in that story. It was quite funny.
Cool.
Imagine the judge.
You seem you have like accomplished a lot of stuff for Tesseract and Asia Law Network. Do you have any achievements that you can share with us? What you've achieved in the industry so far? Anything you're proud of?
Yeah. I mean, thank you. I would like to think of them as achievements, but I think as a team, we've come very far. Although I've always been very tech-based in terms of the way I do things. I mean, from young and, learning programming and stuff. But to manage a tech company is a totally different ballgame, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think with most startups you've come across, or even companies that come across, to start up in the tech industry is one thing. But to really build a B2B SaaS tech company, right, which is hardcore, like, software type company, it's a totally, different game altogether. And it's, of course, very male dominated. And you're in a space where you have to run 24/7.
Yes, you
Right,
burn
so-
many weekends. There's no such thing as
Yeah.
weekends, no holidays.
Yes, yes. So I think what the team has achieved is interesting because none of us are actually from the heavy tech background where we started. Of course, the devs come from tech background and heavy tech background, but the rest of us are doing customer service. I'm really, really proud that the team has really learned a lot of things very quickly. Over the past few years. So that's interesting. So we've got the company like Tessaract to even win the gold award in the ASEAN ICT Awards.
Nice.
And Asia Law Network has won a couple of awards as well as a service that's required by people on the street, just basically by everybody.
Awesome.
So and actually Asia Law Network was listed as one of the sites for seeking legal services, essential legal services. So by
Nice.
Ministry of Law. So that was pretty cool. So I guess there's always not enough time to prioritize and to do things. And, I think the team would hope to do a lot more with whatever time we have to help the community to move forth. So helping, really, I think the biggest thing is to see your users really get on board this digitizing train, right? And feel comfortable with it. Yeah.
That's great. And just now, did I hear you say that in this male-dominated world, you say that?
Yes.
Male-dominated tech world, I must say.
Oh,
Come on,
okay.
this is the widely known truth.
Okay, I thought you say male-dominated world in the legal industry.
That is actually pretty true too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that if a husband and wife quarrel, any quarrel, the wife shall win one. So actually, I think female lawyer will make it in the in the court. Yeah.
I wouldn't comment on that. I shall not go into the legal part.
I think everybody knows. Okay, so what about some future plans for your business? Where do you see Asia Law Network or Tessaract going?
Yes, so for Asia Law Network, it's very clear. We want to cover the entire of Asia when it comes to legal access to legal services. Where it comes to Tessaract, it's beyond Asia. We want to expand it globally and to have each professional an account with Tessaract Technologies. That's our goal, mission. Every professional an account.
Cool. And I hope wish you all the best as well for Tessaract. I'm going to check out your Asia Law Network very soon and share it with my friends as well. Because you mentioned $49 for legal services, of course the more generic ones which I think is very affordable. A lot of people can go to your site instead of googling online and then contact a lawyer manually, ask the price, tell him the whole situation, and then it's going to be longer than just using your online platform.
Yep. And you can seek second advice.
That's
See,
true.
that's the
Just
thing.
pay another $49.
Exactly. I mean, it's affordable, right, for second advice? Yeah, you feel better as well. Yeah.
Is there I hope this is not a stupid question, but is there like a market rate in Singapore for lawyers? They say get charged per hour, right? They bill you per hour, so they're always, when they are talking to you, consulting you, they're always smiling because everything you talk to them, right? Every minute is money to them. So is there like a market rate kind of like per hour? What is considered a low cost for a lawyer? Let's say a manual consultation. Is there such a thing? Yeah.
It's very different because there's maybe broadly 30 different kinds of lawyers.
Okay.
In terms of categories. So I wouldn't say like there's a specific rate, but it can really range. Depending on your kind of legal advice that you need lah. Just like how you go to a GP, then later on you go to a specialist, right? The price is slightly different. So same thing as lawyers. I guess there's the more generic legal advice that you can seek, and then when you go on to the specialist part, that's where the charges might come in a bit more hefty lah.
And also emergency charges.
Yes.
you want instant help.
Correct. So always practice preventive law. Get your contracts done properly, then you don't need to worry that you need to go into these emergency situations. Then you'll panic and then have to pay a lot.
Yeah.
So this is free advice right there from Cherilyn from Asia Law. So to our listeners out there, always practice preventive. What is that? Preventive law.
Preventive law. Yeah.
Okay, learn something new. So instead of never do something properly at the start, you get into trouble, then you have to pay more.
Correct. Exactly. I mean, with all things, right? Preventive.
Yeah.
And that's why
preventing.
you guys come in very, very handy
Yeah.
too.
So it's actually the same thing for cybersecurity. We always say prevention is cheaper than when something's happened already. It's more expensive to fix.
Yes, correct. I mean, a stitch in time saves nine. My mom always tell me this.
Yeah, because actually sometimes it's even too late. Like let's say if a hacker already hacked and accessed your database, and now
Yeah,
he has a copy of it. So now there's no amount of
no
money.
turning back.
Yeah, there's no amount of money that, like, even if you pay him money, there's no stopping him from uploading it
Yeah,
whenever he
Yeah.
wants to do it, because he
correct.
has a copy of it. He has no control. Even you call police also no use. If he's
Yeah,
overseas, the police has no jurisdiction to help you catch that guy.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
only unless you are like some minister, then maybe you can.
I don't think there's exception. I really don't think there's exception.